Hey everyone. Seems like there's a ton of buzz around this whole idea of earning Bitcoin without breaking a sweat.
Yeah, definitely seems like it.
And you want to know if this 100K Bitcoin system everyone's talking about is legit or just another one of those too good to be true things.
Right.
So you've brought a whole bunch of info about it, and we're going to dive deep into it together.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
We're going to look at how it works, what people are saying about it, the good and the bad, and even what some of the big names in the tech world think about Bitcoin in general.
Should be interesting.
So from what I've seen so far, this 100K Bitcoin system is all about making passive income with Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And they really push how simple it is to use. Like, you don't need to be a tech genius or a crypto expert to get started.
Yeah, that's a big part of their pitch, for sure.
It's all about automation.
Right.
They say it uses AI to analyze the market and make trades for you, aiming to get you daily profits somewhere between $25 and $50.
Like having a little robot working for you 24/7, trying to grow your Bitcoin.
Exactly. Now, the guy behind this system, he's developed other digital products in the past. Things like AMZ Money Machine and TubeCash AI.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of those.
Seems like he's got a knack for making online earning more accessible, simplifying things.
I mean, if he's had success with those other products, it at least shows he knows how to create something people actually use.
Exactly. It gives him some credibility. But of course, whenever money is involved, especially in the world of crypto,
Oh, absolutely.
you gotta be cautious.
Huge grain of salt. Always.
So the big question is, does this 100K Bitcoin system actually deliver on its promises?
Right, right.
We've got some user testimonials and reviews to look at, and they paint kind of a mixed picture.
Interesting.
There's some really positive stories.
Right.
We've got one from a stay-at-home mom who says she's been making a couple $100 a week with it.
Not bad.
Helps her cover some everyday expenses, which is awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
And then there's this college student who's using his earnings to pay off his student loans bit by bit.
Those are definitely encouraging stories.
It's great to see it potentially helping people reach their financial goals, even if it's just a small step.
That's sure.
But we got to be realistic too,
Of course.
Individual results can vary a lot, and there's no guarantee that everyone will have the same success.
Yeah, and especially with something like crypto, the market is so unpredictable. No system can guarantee specific results in that kind of environment.
So while those success stories are exciting,
Mm-hmm.
it's super important to keep in mind that your experience might be totally different.
Definitely something to remember.
Speaking of Bitcoin, let's zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture.
Okay.
Bitcoin itself has been making headlines left and right lately.
Oh, yeah, it's everywhere.
You've got big names like Elon Musk, Richard Branson,
Right.
even Donald Trump talking about it.
It's gone mainstream.
It really has.
I mean, when you have those kinds of figures, especially people known for their business and tech savvy, talking about Bitcoin, it definitely legitimizes the whole crypto space.
For sure, for sure.
And it's not just them, right? You've got major global banks like JP Morgan investing in blockchain technology, which is the foundation of Bitcoin.
It really does seem like Bitcoin is carving out a place for itself in the future of finance.
It'll be fascinating to see where it goes from here.
Absolutely. But let's circle back to this 100K Bitcoin system and see exactly what you get when you sign up.
Okay, let's break it down.
Well, first off, you get access to their AI-powered app, which is what they say identifies those potentially profitable trades.
That's the heart of the system.
They also make a big deal about how it's completely hands-off. You set it up and forget about it.
Set it and forget it. I've heard that a lot.
And they have a mobile version too, so you can check your earnings wherever you are.
Gotta love that convenience.
Right. And for anyone who's new to all this, they provide step-by-step training videos to walk you through setting it up.
Makes it less intimidating for beginners.
Exactly. And they say it only takes like 10 minutes to get going.
Wow, that's pretty quick.
Plus, they offer what they call world-class support, even one-on-one mentoring, if you need help.
Sounds like they're really trying to make sure people feel supported, especially those who are new to crypto.
And on top of all that, they give you some bonus resources, like a Bitcoin starter guide and access to a VIP community.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, having a community to connect with can be super helpful when you're trying something new.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've talked about the features, the potential benefits, but let's get real for a second and talk about the pros and cons, help our listeners get a balanced view.
Definitely. So, on the plus side, it seems pretty affordable to get started with the 100K Bitcoin system.
Yeah, compared to some other investments, the entry cost is pretty low.
And they make it super easy to set up, and then you've got that potential for passive income, which is always attractive. Plus, they offer a risk-free guarantee, which is a nice touch.
definitely adds a layer of trust.
And we can't forget about that mobile access. Makes it really convenient.
For sure. They've clearly focused on user-friendliness.
They have, but of course, no system is perfect.
Right. Never is.
So there are some potential downsides to consider.
Like what?
Well, first off, results can vary.
Right. We talked about that.
Not everyone's going to have the same experience.
Definitely.
And you definitely need a solid internet connection for this to work.
Makes sense.
And then there's the elephant in the room, the crypto market itself.
Ah, yes.
It's incredibly...
Beast.
Exactly. So it's all about weighing the potential benefits against those inherent risks.
It's a balancing act for sure. All right, so let's dig a bit deeper into the tech behind this 100K Bitcoin system.
Okay.
They talk a lot about artificial intelligence, AI.
Right. AI sounds pretty futuristic.
But how does it actually work with cryptocurrency?
Well, from what I understand, AI is really good at crunching huge amounts of data.
Yeah, that's its strength.
So in the world of crypto, that could mean analyzing things like price trends, trading volume,
Right.
maybe even what people are saying about Bitcoin online, social media obsessed,
Sentiment analysis, yeah.
all to try and find patterns and predict what's going to happen next.
Exactly. It's like having a super-powered analyst constantly scanning the market for any little hint of an opportunity.
So basically this 100K Bitcoin system claims to use these fancy algorithms to make smart trades based on what the AI predicts.
Trying to stay one step ahead of the game.
Like a digital crystal ball for Bitcoin.
Well, not quite a crystal ball.
Okay.
As powerful as AI is, it's not perfect.
Right.
The crypto market is influenced by so many things.
Yeah.
Some of them completely unpredictable.
So even the smartest AI can't guarantee you'll always make money.
Exactly. It's all about probabilities, not certainties.
Makes sense.
It can identify potential opportunities, but there's always a risk that things won't go as planned.
Now, they also mentioned something called a free crypto hack.
Yeah, that's a bit vague.
What do you think that could be about?
It's hard to say for sure without more details.
Okay.
Maybe it involves taking advantage of tiny price differences between different exchanges.
Oh, arbitrage.
Exactly. Or maybe it's about finding those little market inefficiencies that pop up for a short time and exploiting them for a quick profit.
Oh, this is pretty clever.
It's an interesting idea, but without more information,
Yeah.
it's tough to say how realistic it is or even if it's ethical.
Right.
Always good to be cautious with those kinds of claims.
So let's shift gears a bit and talk about the practical stuff.
Okay.
What's it actually like to set up this 100K Bitcoin system?
Well, from what they describe, it seems pretty straightforward.
Good.
They say it takes less than 10 minutes to get up and running.
That's pretty fast.
First step is you buy a license for the system.
And they've got a special launch price right now, right?
Yeah, seems like they're trying to make it accessible.
Okay, so you get the license. Then what?
Then you get access to their platform,
Sorry.
which includes the AI trading app, the training materials, and all the support stuff we talked about earlier.
Got it.
You'd connect your Bitcoin wallet so any earnings can be deposited there.
So once that's all set up, you just sit back and let the AI do its thing.
That's the idea, the set it and forget it approach.
Like a robot gardener for your Bitcoin.
Kind of, but it's still a good idea to check in every now and then.
Yeah, make sure everything's running smoothly.
Review your earnings.
Right. Stay informed.
Now, we talked about the creator's background with digital products, but it's not clear if he has specific expertise in crypto trading or blockchain technology.
So maybe he's working with other experts behind the scenes.
That's definitely possible.
Or using existing AI technology,
Could be.
which would make sense.
Yeah, it's pretty common for entrepreneurs to team up with specialists to get the best results.
And he's offering that 180-day money-back guarantee, right?
Yeah.
That does give you some peace of mind. Shows he's confident in the product.
Yeah, for sure.
But before we move on, there's one more important thing to talk about.
What's that?
Ethical considerations.
Ah, yes. That's crucial.
Whenever you hear about hacks or effortless profits, you got to stop and think about the ethics of it all.
Absolutely. We
Wow.
need to be responsible here.
Is this system playing by the rules? Are there any potential downsides that we need to be aware of?
It's a good question, but unfortunately, without knowing exactly how this free crypto hack works, it's hard to say for sure what the ethical implications are.
Okay.
But we can talk about some broader ethical concerns surrounding AI trading systems in general.
Like what?
Well, one concern is market manipulation.
What do you mean?
Imagine if a lot of people are using similar AI strategies.
Okay.
It could potentially create artificial price swings, distorting the market.
That's a bit worrying.
It's a possibility for sure.
What else?
Another concern is fairness. Do these systems give an unfair advantage to a select group of users? Because people who can afford to buy these systems might have an edge over those who can't.
Right, widening the gap instead of closing it.
Exactly. And ideally, technology should be used to make financial opportunities more accessible to everyone, not create a bigger divide.
Absolutely. It's all about finding the right balance.
And having these conversations about responsible development and use of AI.
Making sure the crypto market stays fair and transparent.
As this technology continues to evolve, welcome back. Let's take a step back from the 100K Bitcoin system for a moment.
Okay.
And look at the bigger picture.
The future of Bitcoin itself.
Exactly.
Where do you see all this heading?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, no one can predict the future.
Right.
But there's no denying that Bitcoin has completely shaken things up in the financial world.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's caught the attention of investors everywhere.
It's been a wild ride, that's for sure.
It has.
From a niche idea to those incredible highs.
Yeah.
And then those dramatic crashes.
Lots of ups and downs.
And it's not just Bitcoin, right?
No, not at all.
The whole cryptocurrency market has exploded in the past few years.
It's amazing how many different digital currencies are out there now.
It's hard to keep up with it all sometimes.
Yeah, it is.
But let's focus on the big picture for Bitcoin.
Okay.
What are the key factors that are going to shape its future?
Well, I think regulation is a huge one.
Regulation.
Governments around the world are still trying to figure out how to deal with cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Their decisions are going to have a massive impact on how the market grows and how widely it's adopted.
We've seen some countries really embracing crypto, while others are being much more cautious.
Definitely.
How do you see that regulatory landscape evolving?
It's hard to say for sure. It's a very fluid situation.
Okay.
Different countries are taking different approaches.
Right.
Some are trying to create clear guidelines to encourage innovation while still managing the risks.
Sounds like a balancing act.
It is, for sure.
Too much regulation could stifle things,
Definitely.
but too little could lead to all sorts of problems.
Instability, potential for misuse.
Exactly.
Another crucial factor is adoption.
Adoption.
For Bitcoin to really become mainstream,
Yeah.
it needs to be accepted by businesses and individuals on a much wider scale.
We are seeing more and more companies starting to accept Bitcoin as payment,
We are.
but it's still early days, right?
Oh yeah, there's a long way to go.
What are the biggest hurdles to widespread adoption?
Well, price volatility is a big one.
Those wild price swings.
Exactly. It makes businesses hesitant to accept Bitcoin.
If the price could drop suddenly,
Yeah, they could lose money.
and then there's the issue of scalability.
Right. Can the Bitcoin network actually handle a huge number of transactions?
Without slowing down or getting too expensive.
Exactly.
And let's be honest, using cryptocurrency is still pretty complicated for a lot of people.
It's not as easy as swiping a credit card, that's for sure.
So there are definitely challenges.
There are, but the good news is that developers are working hard to address these issues.
That's good to hear.
They're exploring ways to improve scalability.
Make the network faster and more efficient.
Exactly, and to reduce volatility.
Smooth out those price swings.
And of course, to create more user-friendly platforms.
Make it easier for everyone to use.
That's the goal.
And we're seeing some cool new wallets and exchanges popping up that make it much easier for everyday people to buy, sell, and manage their crypto.
It's getting more accessible all the time.
So despite the challenges, there's a lot of optimism about Bitcoin's future.
There is. A lot of people believe it has the potential to disrupt the financial world as we know it.
Some even say it could eventually replace traditional currencies.
It's a bold prediction.
It is. Do you think it's realistic?
It's definitely a topic of debate, a lot of factors at play.
But it's exciting to think about.
It is.
But we also need to be realistic about the potential downsides.
Absolutely. Every coin has two sides.
What are some of the concerns people have about Bitcoin?
Well, one that's often raised is the environmental impact of Bitcoin mining.
Bitcoin mining.
It's the process that verifies transactions and adds new blocks to the blockchain, right?
And it requires a lot of computing power.
So it uses a lot of energy.
A lot of energy, which means a big carbon footprint.
Are there any solutions to that problem?
There are people working on making mining more energy efficient, exploring things like renewable energy sources
Okay.
and more efficient algorithms.
So there's hope for a greener Bitcoin.
There is, definitely.
What about the use of Bitcoin in criminal activities?
That's another concern that comes up a lot.
Yeah, it's something you hear about in the news.
The anonymity of Bitcoin can make it attractive for legal purposes.
Right. It's harder to trace. But it's important to remember that the vast majority of cryptocurrency transactions are perfectly legitimate.
That makes sense.
And law enforcement is getting better at tracking crypto transactions.
It's a cat and mouse game.
In a way, yes.
So it seems like with Bitcoin, there's a lot of potential.
Huge potential.
But also some real risks to consider.
It's a complex landscape, that's for sure.
It is.
Yeah.
So for our listeners who are intrigued by all this and thinking about dipping their toes into the crypto world,
Yeah.
what advice would you give them?
I think the most important thing is education.
Education.
Take the time to learn the basics of cryptocurrency.
Don't just jump in headfirst.
Exactly. Understand how it works, the different types of digital currencies, and the risks involved,
Don't get caught up in the hype.
or the promises of getting rich quick.
Be smart about it.
Absolutely. And start small.
Small.
Only invest what you can afford to lose.
That's crucial.
Remember, the crypto market can be volatile,
It can change in an instant.
and diversification is important too.
Diversification.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
So invest in a variety of cryptocurrencies.
Exactly, and other asset classes too.
Don't forget about the real world.
And be careful about which exchanges and wallets you use.
Exchanges and wallets.
That's where you buy, sell, and store your crypto.
Okay.
Do your research. Choose platforms with a good reputation for security and reliability.
So many scams out there.
And finally, be patient.
Patient.
Cryptocurrency is a long game.
Not a get-rich-quick scheme.
Exactly. Focus on learning and making informed decisions.
Solid advice.
The crypto world is constantly changing.
It's moving fast.
So you gotta stay informed and be adaptable.
So much to learn.
There is, but it's fascinating stuff.
It is. Well, we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
From the ins and outs of the 100K Bitcoin system to the big trends shaping the future of Bitcoin itself.
The potential, the risks, the technology, the whole landscape.
If you're interested in learning more about the 100K Bitcoin system, we've included a link in the description where you can check it out and decide if it's right for you.
And whether or not you decide to explore it further. Keep learning, keep exploring.
And stay curious.
Absolutely.
That's all for today's deep dive.
Thanks for listening.